World's wealthiest people meet the richest on the planet. Please note that the order of appearance in the video is not the ranking order. First up is Bill Gates, the guy who always gets mentioned as the reason for dropping out or failing exams. Well, it's true that Bill Gates dropped out, but let's be clear, he dropped out of Harvard. And in reality, Bill Gates doesn't encourage students to quit school like he did. So if you're thinking of following in his footsteps, you might get into Harvard first, and then figure out the rest. From a young age, Bill Gates was an outstanding student. Back then, there were no League of Legends or adult movies to distract him, so he found his passion in programming. Later on, when he saw the opportunity to start his own computer software company, he decided to drop out and put all his effort into building Microsoft. And it's worth mentioning that his parents weren't ordinary people either. His father was the chairman of a famous law firm, and his mother was a bank executive and the chairwoman of the United Way of Korea. With that kind of background and talent, it's no surprise that Bill Gates became a millionaire by the age of 26 and only needed another 6 or 7 years to become a billionaire. In short, Bill Gates topped the list of the world's richest people for more than a decade. I rate this guy as one dropped out/one divorced. Next up is Jeff Bezos, the former CEO of Amazon. His profession? Online sales. He's tall, fair-skinned, and well-bald. From a young age, he had a passion for science and technology. Of course, he was also an outstanding student and even received a prestigious national scholarship in the U.S. Early in his career, Jeff worked for a company called FinTech. He quickly rose through the ranks to become head of a department and then director of customer services. But maybe the customers were a bit too demanding, so he quit and moved on to a banking job. In 1994, he made the decision to start Amazon, originally named Cadabra, which was an online bookstore. Back then, investors were warned that there was a 70% chance Amazon stock would fail or go bankrupt. And staying true to those predictions, Amazon hit a rough patch a few years later. Jeff had to shut down distribution centers and lay off a large number of employees. But this was Amazon, not B-Mazon, so the company survived thanks to continuous investments, especially from Asian parents. This gives us an interesting perspective. Sometimes, extraordinary success doesn't necessarily come from brilliant ideas or masterful management. Amazon survived because it managed to secure huge amounts of capital just before the stock market crash. If Jeff Bezos and his team had delayed their fundraising by just a few weeks, Amazon might have ended up as nothing more than a place for idle browsing. But that's just a what-if. Today, Amazon is one of the world's leading technology and e-commerce companies, making Jeff Bezos the richest person in the world in 2017. However, by 2021, the trend of fake humble chairman was all the rage, so Jeff Bezos stepped down as CEO and became a TikToker instead. Similar to Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos also divorced his wife and even had an affair with his wife's best friend. Because this girl has bigger breasts, delicious. Mark Zuckerberg, known as the man with the strongest stamina on the planet, capable of keeping the ladies entertained for hours while also holding the personal information of billions of people through Facebook. He grew up as a Jewish kid, so it's no surprise that he was a stellar student, bagging a bunch of awards and honors. He was also the captain of the fencing team. By the time he entered Harvard, Mark Zuckerberg was already famous as a programming prodigy, but he dropped out to pursue his budding projects. That's when he found love with his future wife after they met in the hallway outside the bathroom. Maybe he asked her to pass him a roll of toilet paper, and the rest is history. They ended up having the most liked marriage on Facebook. Truly a homegrown romance, and as of now, the couple still seems to be very happy. Mark has a very simple style of dressing, which has become his signature look. His dog is even more famous than I am. When you think of Mark Zuckerberg, you think of Facebook with its signature blue and white colors simply because Mark is red-green colorblind. Overall, he's a person who found success at a young age. Though not an artist, he's known for frequent charity work. However, every now and then, he gets tangled up in lawsuits over data breaches and privacy concerns. His family spends tens of millions of dollars each year on security to ensure their safety. Meanwhile, our information on Facebook doesn't get the same level of protection. Elon Musk, billionaire, has many talent but also many problems. Born and raised in South Africa, but he's got skin whiter than South Americans. Like many other billionaires, this guy also dropped out of school and dropped his wives, not once, but maybe 2 or 3 times. Each wife has her own story, so who knows? If Elon Musk weren't rich, people would call him a social media childish. But since he's wealthy, he's known as the funny billionaire. He's the founder of SpaceX, CEO, and product architect of Tesla, and even became the richest person in the world in 2022, with a net worth surpassing $273 billion. That's more than the GDP of some poor countries over several years. To become such an extraordinary person, Elon Musk went through a rough phase of being bullied and looked down upon. His biological father was distant, and as for his mom, I will not joke about her. For him, SpaceX is like his brainchild, a place where they develop and manufacture space launch vehicles, focusing on advancing rocket technology to extend civilization and reduce the likelihood and duration of a potential dark age. Besides SpaceX, there's the electric car company Tesla, which made him the #1 scientist on TikTok. The name Tesla is now all over social media, and you can probably guess who benefits from this. On top of that, Elon Musk owns several other companies, including the recent purchase of Twitter, which he renamed X, just because he felt he wasn't free to speak his mind on the platform. He's also the co-founder of OpenAI, the company that created ChatGPT, which I once paid to use, and now it's free. But then this guy is the same one who declared AI as humanity's greatest existential threat, while occasionally posting something outrageous that wipes billions off the market. Turns out, even billionaires know how to troll. Warren Buffett, the business tycoon and legendary investor of America, often referred to as the Sage of Omaha, is famous for his unwavering commitment to the value investing philosophy. For him, it's not about whether something is good, it's about whether it can be sold for a profit. He believes, if you buy things you don't need, you'll eventually have to sell things you do need. It's simple, be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful. This guy is the true wolf of Wall Street, not the lone wolf on TikTok. One interesting fact about Warren, he bought his first stock at the age of 11, a time when I wasn't even born yet. In his youth, he faced unemployment because the job he applied for only accepted Jewish candidates. Lucky for him, he was an American Jew, not an Austrian one. In the late 1980s, this legendary investor started accumulating Coca-Cola stock. This was almost a destined relationship since, as a child, Buffett sold Coca-Cola to make money. His investment career truly took off as he entered the new century. In 2008, he officially overtook Bill Gates' empire, coincidentally the year America plunged into a severe financial crisis. Remember his mantra, be greedy when others are fearful. Bernard Arnault, the person currently considered the richest in the world, holding this position for 2 years now, is the CEO and chairman of the world's largest luxury conglomerate, LVMH. This company owns around 75 fashion and cosmetics brands, including Dior, Louis Vuitton, and Bulgari. He's a Frenchman, hailing from a country renowned for its top-tier fashion and cosmetics. This man is one of the few who has managed to dethrone Elon Musk as the world's richest person. To achieve this, he had to pull off several high-stakes mergers and acquisitions that shook the global market. His ambition was to elevate his company to stand alongside the biggest luxury groups of the time, like Richemont and Kering. And he also divorced Larry Page, the co-founder of the greatest tool for those who are bad at history, Google. That's the place where all you need is Control plus Shift plus, and when you're alone and have a roll of tissues by your side. It's no surprise that you find out both of Larry Page's parents worked in the field of computer science. He mentioned that since he was young, he has been inspired by Nikola Tesla. But back then, there was no TikTok, so instead of sitting there praising Tesla, he focused on studying. Because of that, he later became one of the most influential figures in the world. Larry Ellison, the CEO of Oracle, one of the largest software system and database technology providers in the current tech market, is a crucial player for many organizations. He's known for his rebellious personality and fiercely independent thinking. Although he grew up in a Reformed Jewish family, he always questioned the tenets of the faith. He felt that the doctrines of Judaism didn't align with his beliefs. Kind of like CR7 winning the Euro twice, he just couldn't believe it was real. Ellison openly expressed his skepticism toward the mythical stories of the religion. In the past, he also had a war of words with Bill Gates, probably arguing about how often Microsoft forces users to update their software. Mukesh Ambani, a tycoon from India. Mukesh Ambani is the chairman and managing director of Reliance Industries. Now, I wouldn't have known this name if I hadn't heard that it's the largest private company in India. In the early days of his career, he focused solely on petrochemicals, but later expanded into IT, energy, and market financing, basically lending money. The company was originally headed by his father, but after his father's passing, Mukesh and his brother went head-to-head, fighting for control. Since there was no will, this battle wasn't just a family feud. It also affected the Indian government and the country's economy. In the end, Mukesh Ambani came out on top. But don't be quick to say he just got lucky as a successor. In reality, he played a crucial role in taking the company global through restructuring and expansion. It might sound a bit vague, but that's the truth. Honestly, I don't know the specifics of how he restructured everything. Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, the man who sends the message that every year there will be a new iPhone that's 99% identical to the old one. He's the successor of Steve Jobs, and he quickly showcased his management talent by helping Apple's annual revenue nearly quadruple by 2023. Leading Apple to the top of the world has made Tim Cook one of the most powerful CEOs on the planet. Interestingly, people who have worked with Tim Cook's team often say they don't know much about him, who he is, or what his personality is like. Yet, somehow Steve Jobs handpicked him to be the CEO of Apple. Jack Ma, talented but born in China, so he ended up with wealth but not much power. Jack Ma is considered a role model for startups, traveling the world to inspire and share the experiences he's gained throughout his career. In the past, Jack Ma failed his university entrance exams twice and was rejected by Harvard 10 times. However, everything changed when he discovered the internet in 1995. He initially founded Alibaba as an e-commerce platform for small and medium-sized businesses, and it took many years to grow it into the massive online marketplace it is today. His life kept going upward from there, until he felt he was getting a bit old and stepped down as CEO. But instead of spending his time traveling or scrolling through Weibo and Douyin, Jack Ma focused on social issues. This eventually led to him being silenced for speaking out and criticizing the Chinese government. Some people believe this was the government's way of reining in highly successful individuals like the founder of Alibaba, those who try to reach beyond the control of the authorities. Well, that's a bit political, but that's what I've heard. Steve Ballmer. Steve Ballmer is a talented and passionate figure in the world of technology, best known for his role as the former CEO of Microsoft. Ballmer attended Harvard University, where he became close friends with Bill Gates. Thanks to his dedication and leadership skills, Ballmer quickly climbed the ranks and eventually served as the CEO of Microsoft from 2000 to 2014. While some of his strategic decisions were controversial, no one can deny the critical role Ballmer played in shaping and sustaining Microsoft's growth. After stepping down as CEO, Ballmer didn't slow down. Instead, he focused on personal projects and social activities. He purchased the Los Angeles Clippers basketball team and invested in various tech and education initiatives. With his straightforward and determined personality, Ballmer continues to show a strong commitment to important societal issues and remains a major contributor to the community. We will make more videos like this. Please subscribe to watch them.